A gallery of 19th century art, liable to be very popular, not just with me, but with many other folk, of course. There is a good number of people going up and down the stairs, in and out of the doorway here. I'm hesitating, thinking maybe I should go somewhere else. But let's see how we get on. Maximilian Gierymski, famous Polish painter, back from a hunt, 1872. Josef Branoy. What a superb, lifelike image. Don't know how this will come across through the camera on my phone. Portrait of Ignacy Jan Paderewski, world-renowned pianist. I think he can be happy with his finished portrait there. Absolutely superb. This lady's face, it's a little bit of Liza Minnelli eyes there. There's a story to be told, isn't there? By Anna Bilinska Bohanovic. This painting arose at the peak of Bilinska's career at a time when she was garnering commissions from members of the aristocracy and the financial and intellectual elite. The subject of the painting, young lady named Róża Glam. Well, you couldn't make that up, could you? Of whom all that is known is her name. How intriguing. I want to know more, because there's a story in that face. Of course, as always, feel free to pause the video if you wish to read more. Got a very famous painting coming up after we see Pan up to his usual mischief. Temptation by Cyprian Godebski. Henryk Siemiradski, the Christian Dirce, whatever a Dirce is. Dirce, perhaps, the Queen of Thebes who met her death bound to the horns of a bull. The painter is Henryk Siemiradski, and the content evokes connotations of the novel Quo Vadis by Henryk Sienkiewicz. Nobel Prize winner, 1905. Joyful and full of life, as are these figures. Before a bath, Henryk Shimoradsky again. He certainly liked his classical themes, didn't he? This is the curtain for the City Theatre in Krakow. I'd like to see that for real. And I don't mean to be rude, but have you seen this lady with a moustache? Methinks the lady may be a man. A key scene in the second act of Shakespeare's tragedy, Hamlet. Ah, that would explain it. Because often in period drama, you would get men dressing as women, as the company of players would be all male. Oh, okay, that explains things then. Things aren't quite as rum as I supposed initially. The Judgment of Paris. Again, Henryk Shimoradsky. Pan up to no good again. And this speaks of Canaletto, almost certainly, doesn't it? Bernardo Bellotto, called Canaletto. View of Warsaw from the Royal Castle Terrace. Now, if you've seen my earlier videos from a previous visit to Warsaw, you'll have heard me talk quite a lot about Canaletto. And also you'll have seen a fair sizable chunk of the Royal Palace. So feel free to go back and review those videos first. Tadeusz Kuntz, an allegorical painting, fortune and art. Illustrations of the ancient maxim stating, art is long and life is short. Well, I couldn't have told that from just looking at the painting. But then I'm no art historian, of course. Claude Joseph Vernet. And another Canaletto, this time depicting the area of Łazienki Park and Ujazdów, where again we visited in earlier videos before the trip to Ukraine. A portrait of a lady in a turban. And who's for a spot of puppeteering? And once again, I think it's worth pointing out, as I like to do fairly often, I think. Hope I don't overstate it, but I'm really not filming absolutely everything there is to see. Do come along yourself, because there are plenty of paintings I'm missing out. And sculptures. Otherwise, the video would go on forever. And Villeneuve Palace, what can I say? Didn't have time on my last visit to Warsaw to visit. I have been there before, of course, a long time ago. Not sure I'm going to have time on this short stay in Warsaw to visit either. But, of course, that's good, because I have to leave things to do for future trips. The work of Felix Oncharski, card sharps in candlelight. Just look at those faces. The scene of a circus in Saskakempa, 1852. Isn't that fascinating? Lovely. This is one of my favourite aspects of art. Miniature portraits. Some not quite so miniature, but just such astonishing images, you see. The way they're able to capture the facial features, I always find incredible. What a hairstyle of the gentleman, military gentleman, over to the far right. Michał Branicki. No, that's the man with the cigar. So, portrait of Gustav Vasa, Crown Prince of Sweden. One of those playful fancies I've had in the past. If I was ever to be a rich man, I might indulge in collecting miniatures. Not just miniature railways, miniature trains and planes and automobiles, but also these portraits. I can't get up too close because I lose the focus completely. So I'm afraid I can't capture just how wonderful these actually are. In the flesh, so to speak. So book your flight. You need to come to Warsaw. And this is definitely a place to come on a Tuesday. You know you want to. And there's no getting away from him. Adam Mickiewicz. And I'll let you tell me the name of this famous location down in the comments below. Ooh, another famous painting. This is the death of, what's her name, Barbara Rajvili? Yes, the death of Barbara Rajvili, or Radzivil, however you're going to pronounce her name. Inspiration for this work by Simla. The artist is Yusuf Simla. Was the then popular story of the love between Barbara Radzivil and Sigismund August, the last of the Jagiellonian kings. Despite the disapproval of King Sigismund I the Old, and the Parliament, the same, the lovers wed in secrecy in 1547. The young queen would die prematurely. And I strongly recommend when you come to this painting, you look very closely at this young lady's eyes. It's mentioned here. Wow. She must have been quite a lady to encounter in real life if her eyes were like that. Oh, now we have one of the showstoppers. Jan Matejko, of course. Dare I call him the godfather of Polish art? I want to. In Polish painting, the greatest exponent of historicism was Jan Matejko, who created monumental paintings with historiosophic messages. And here is the great artist himself. If he looks familiar, you might think, hey, did he actually fashion the image of the court's jester in a famous painting we might see shortly on his own image? And here was his wife, Theodora, in a wedding gown. And now the room is being flooded by hosts of young people can't blame them when the painting's of this quality. The Battle of Grunwald, painted in 1878. Speaking of using his own features, it's interesting that in this painting by Jan Matejko, I can see his face in the male character, and I can certainly see his wife's image, his wife Theodora. Look at that. Almost unmistakable. But in theory, this is how he saw Sigismund Augustus and Barbara Radzishvili. Very different looking to the image of the death scene of the Queen we saw earlier, or the would-be Queen. Aha. And if the Battle of Grunwald isn't Matejko's most famous painting, then this has to be. What do you think? Features, it's unmistakable really, isn't it? Not quite to the extent of some other artists like Jacek Małczewski, for instance, but certainly Matejko did paint his own features into some historic figures, which is obviously an interesting trend back in the 19th century in Poland. Stanchik, the royal court jester to Sigismund I the Old, sits in solitude and contemplates the fate of his homeland as it wages war with the Grand Duchy of Moscow. A ball is in full swing in the adjacent room inside Wawel Castle in Kraków. Amidst the jubilation, Stanchik alone can see the future, able to comprehend the dangers resulting from the loss of the borderland fortress in Smolensk. Yeah, it's fanciful, it's theatric. Why not? It's art. And here's a great tragedy, a young artist who was superb, extremely talented, but sadly died aged only 23. He's left us so few paintings behind. Moritz Gottlieb. I hope all the students are paying attention. And I'm very pleased to see another example, a very different example, by that gone too soon artist, Moritz Gottlieb. Christ teaching at Capernaum. And another. Oh, you lucky things. Those who haven't come already but are planning to visit Warsaw, you've got an extra room coming soon. The photography room.